What we are talking about today is one of the long-standing myths in the fat loss world, and that is, of course, fasted cardio. Is fasted cardio better for fat loss than any other form of cardio? Should you be getting out of your pit at 5 a.m., bleary-eyed, wiping the sleep from your eyes, crawling to get on that treadmill to bust out an hour of cardio, all for those extra few pounds you're going to lose, potentially, maybe not, of fat by doing that? Or is it all just more bullshit, bro science, and actually not really worth you worrying about whatsoever? So there is a notion that fasted cardio is more beneficial for fat loss. But why is that the case? Why would somebody think that this is actually the nirvana of fat loss? Well, it's to do with, I guess, the fact that energy levels, carbohydrate levels, glycogen levels, whatever you want to call it, are lower. Therefore, when you jump on that treadmill, you jump on that Stairmaster, that exercise bike, then your body is saying, well, actually, I've got no carbs to use here. I've got no stored glycogen here. It's at their lowest levels. So now I'm just going to burn through a shit ton of fat as I plod away on this treadmill for the next hour. That's the theory. But is that the case? Because just because Jack Dude or the girl with the plumpiest peach in the gym said so, does that make it so? Does that make it a, hey, will it work for me? So yeah, it's going to work for you. Does that make that true? Or is that just horseshit? So what I want to look at now is, rather than jump straight into the evidence, let's have a look at what actually physiologically has to happen, what environment has to be created in order for this to be true. And then we can say, well, okay, if these things have to happen in order for fasted cardio to actually burn more fat than fed cardio, then we can see, do those things actually happen? So first thing that's got to happen is that you need an increase in energy expenditure over the course of 24 hours. That's what has to happen in order for fasted cardio to be better than fed cardio. So not necessarily just in that hour that you burn fat in that cardio session, not just that hour, but across a 24-hour period, is one form of cardio versus the other better for burning more fat, more energy. The second thing that probably has to happen is it needs to suppress appetite so that over the course of that same 24-hour period, your calorie deficit increases. Yeah, logical. So therefore, you've done this fasted cardio, therefore it's suppressed appetite in some way, shape or form. Now you're not feeling so hungry, so you don't actually eat as much, and therefore you have a bigger deficit. Cool. The third thing that probably has to happen, and it could be any one of these combinations, could be it has a protein sparing effect and there's an increase in fat burn at the time. So if that happens, so it's sparing protein, so we're not utilizing protein for other functions other than, gains, and then we're increasing fat burn. So what that means is that fat loss has to increase, and so does muscle retention. So we're retaining more muscle and we're burning more fat. Therefore, that is going to be better than if we were burning less fat and losing more muscle. Therefore, that would be a worse scenario. So that would be what has to happen in terms of fasted cardio in order for it to be better. Increase your energy expenditure over 24 hours. It needs to suppress your appetite and have a protein sparing effect. Now, why do people believe this? Well, as we've kind of mentioned already about the glycogen thing, but actually there is some evidence to show that fasted cardio burns more fat in that specific workout. So when you do a fasted cardio, you get out of bed, 5 a.m., you're really tired, you think, okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, actually, you might burn more fat in that hour than the hour spent on the treadmill when you're fed. However, we'll come on to why that may not matter in a second. The other thing is you get the whole, well, it works for me from the dude in the gym. So yes, well, it worked for me. Fasted cardio worked for me. So therefore it must work for you. I'm jacked. I'm ripped. I've got the fucking best body in the gym. Therefore I did fasted cardio. Therefore it must work. Now, usually that's the worst piece of advice you can get, but There we go. That's by the by. So let's actually move on then. Let's look at the actual research and see if our 3 different scenarios actually happen. So there's a study in 2014 by Brad Schoenfeld that showed that there's 0 difference between fasted cardio and fed cardio over the course of 24 hours. Now, his example where he took 20 females, 20 healthy females, and he divided them 10 did fasted, 10 did fed cardio, put them both groups in a calorie deficit and did cardio for 4 weeks. What they showed was that both groups lost body fat, both groups lost total body weight, 0 difference between the 2 in terms of how much they lost. Now, the reason for that is that although that fasted cardio session burns more fat in that specific session, what happens is you've got something called your respiratory exchange ratio, which is your RER. Now, the simple terms of what that is that's basically what fuel source your body is using for at any particular moment in time. So on that ratio, you might be all at one end using all carbohydrate for maybe very intense exercise, and all at the other end, you might be using body fat or fat for very light exercise or just at rest, whatever it may be. But most of the time is your body is using a mix of fat and carbohydrate. Now, what happens is if you do the fasted cardio or the fed cardio, what your body does over 24 hours is it just slightly adjusts that respiratory exchange ratio. But then by the end of 24 hours, the results are the same. So if you're maybe doing it, let's say you're doing it fasted, you may be in that 24-hour, that initial period of that workout, maybe using slightly more fat. But then over the course of the 24 hours, that balances out as if you were doing the fed cardio. So realistically, over 24 hours, it just does not make one drop of difference whether you do fasted cardio or fed cardio. The only consideration you should really give to whether you do fasted cardio or fed cardio is what makes you do it. Now, if you need to put cardio into your plan for you to achieve your goal, then you got to decide what form of cardio is actually going to make me get off my ass, get on that treadmill, on that Stairmaster, on that exercise bike, and actually do it. If that is fasted cardio, then go for it. If you say, well, actually, I prefer to stay in bed, then fuck it. Go and do some fed cardio. The results will be identical. And that's another point as well. If you are not the type of person that likes to get up in the morning, maybe you go to bed quite late, and therefore getting up to do fasted cardio is quite the struggle, then it might be the case that actually more time in bed, getting higher quality sleep may actually benefit you more in terms of fat loss than actually forcing yourself to get out to bed for this unnecessary reason of doing fasted cardio. So that's pretty much it. A quick, short, sharp answer for you. So fasted cardio is no better than fed cardio. Yes, in that fasted cardio session, you may burn more body fat acutely, but over the course of 24 hours, it will average out to be the same. There is no greater difference through one method of cardio versus the other. What it really boils down to is what you adhere to, what you prefer, and what helps you achieve your goal in the fastest way possible. So I hope that cleared up that debate, that cleared up that myth once and for all, and you are now clear about what you need to do into your own programs. If you did enjoy this little bit of training, please come over to Instagram, say hi, drop me a message, say you enjoyed the podcast, whatever it is you want to talk to me about. Maybe you want to tell me about what your goal is, and maybe you want some help with that. If you visit me at iron_paradise_fitness, I'll be glad to chat to you about anything health, nutrition, Star Wars, coffee, whatever you want. Feel free to come over and chat to me. And also, if you want a free training program, free 4-week training program, guide on how to calculate calories and a load of other stuff, then there's a link in the notes to click and download my free Lean Life Kickstarter pack, which will give you a taster of what online coaching is like with Iron Paradise Fitness. And it's all free, so why wouldn't you click it? Anyway, for now, all I'll say is keep living the lean life, and I'll see you for the next one.